Hey, Garage Gym athletes, before we get to the show, I wanted to check to see if you knew that we are on YouTube. We've been on the platform for a while, but only more recently started to get serious about some video content. So while the podcast will meet most of your needs, some things simply need a visual explanation. So if you want more on concurrent training, programming, garage gyms, head over to YouTube, search Garage Gym Athlete, and subscribe to the channel. I look forward to connecting with you on another platform. All right, let's get to the show. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Garage Gym Athlete Podcast. Jerred Moon here with the Christmas crew.
2/3.
Ashley's crushing it.
I got it. Jerred's a lump of coal.
Yeah, I am bringing the Grinch to Christmas.
Bah humbug.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can go vote. I win every year, but this year's gonna be tough. In previous years, I at least had like a Santa hat on or something like that. But
you do not win every year.
They're doing pretty well. So Joe's got a Christmas tree, some festive lighting, a nice shirt. I think it says "May the Force be with you."
In a pattern of a Christmas tree.
In the pattern of a Christmas tree. All right. And then Ashley has Christmas earrings with a green Christmas shirt that says "Merry Christmas, you filthy animal," which is a Home Alone reference, I believe.
Look at you.
There I am. I know pop culture. And I am all black on black with a black background, black microphone, black clothes, black hat, lump of coal. Just trying to hold it down. Joe nailed it. All right. Well, Merry Christmas to all. Happening this week. We're also
to all a good night, and we're out.
And that's it. And it's Fit Week, right? It's Fit Week.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So all the athletes out there, Fit Week is our testing week. I don't know this. We've mentioned in previous episodes that Fit Week is kind of like we typically, as a team, only test one of these Fit Weeks. We don't normally test all of our metrics every single Fit Week. But I don't know how many people are throwing down all their metrics Christmas holiday. You know what I mean? This might be the toughest of the Fit Weeks for people to accomplish. I don't know who out there is going to be doing it all, but I do encourage all the athletes to at least hit some of the benchmarks if they can. I know traveling makes it difficult, and that's the main reason, not just not doing Fit Week because you don't feel like it. It's more, it can be challenging when you have travel and Fit Week is scheduled over like a 7-day time period. So get in what you can, test what you can. EO3 5K is a great workout you can do anywhere, and we are talking about it today. That's always the Fit Week. Meet Yourself Saturday. And we will be talking about how to talk to your family about fitness as today's topic.
Get uncomfortable around the table.
Yeah, like what you should do at the Christmas table or wherever, and how to bring it up and shame everybody and all that good stuff. So we'll give you some great tactics and strategies you can walk away with. And I'm going in reverse here. What we're starting with is actually a study. So a study, it was done in 2022. I actually pulled up a bunch of different studies just to read about this. Very interesting stuff. We're going over hydrogen-rich water today. And the study specifically is hydrogen-rich water consumption, positive effects, muscle performance, lactate response, and alleviates delayed onset of muscle soreness after resistance training. Like I said, done in 2022, but a more interesting study I read on this was from 2019. And it was called Hydrogen Gas from Clinical Medicine to an Emerging Ergogenic Molecule for Sports Athletes. And that's kind of like where it was introduced. I'm not going to get too much into the study. If you guys want to pull out any little things from the study, you absolutely can. I'm just going to give an overview. And what I wanted to read actually was the abstract from the second study I just read, the one that was done in 2019. Because this is just, it's not big yet, but it might be one day type things. All the studies I've seen are relatively small, so who knows? But big picture here, they're saying, science is saying, drink hydrogen-rich water or breathe in hydrogen. Apparently you can bathe in it, all sorts of stuff, because it's such a small molecule. It finds its way into your system very easily and can really help with performance. All right, so here was the basics of what I wanted to read. It said H2 has been clinically demonstrated to provide antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects, which makes it an attractive agent in exercise medicine. It's already been used in all sorts of places like cancer, reduce inflammation in like non-conventional anti-inflammatories, all sorts of stuff. I'm trying to skip through a bunch of this crap that we don't necessarily need to go over. But what they're saying is it can increase speed of recovery, increase athletic performance, increase endurance, and increase overall health. And then they're basically saying, well, exercise does all the opposite of those things in the acute, the short sense. So it increases oxidative stress. It leads to chronic inflammation. I don't know how they're making they're saying it can do something with disease. They're not real clear here in this study. And then it also increases your risk of injury, which is just really funny if you read the study that I read, because they're more saying like the things that we always joke about. Like in the short term, if an alien were to come and look at a human do exercise, they'd be like, well, that's really, really bad for you because you're all inflamed, your muscles are ripped apart. Like this looks like it's a bad thing. But over a long enough time period, your body compensates, and that's why exercise is ultimately good for us. But what it does is it reduces a lot of those things, all the bad things that happen with exercise. And when I first looked at this, I was like, okay, well, we already know about this kind of stuff, like anti-inflammatory stuff or antioxidants are typically no bueno when it comes to exercise. Like if you're taking ibuprofen post exercise, you're blunting a lot of the response that your body needs to be able to see the results from exercise. So that's one thing that I was on alert for here. Also, in endurance exercise, if you take too many antioxidants, it can blunt the results you get from endurance exercise. So ibuprofen anti-inflammatories more on the hypertrophy and strength side, and antioxidants can worsen your results from endurance exercise. But they're saying somehow hydrogen passes through that, and it's not as big of a deal. And to be honest, even having read it, they kind of explained it. I don't fully understand it. I don't fully understand why they're saying that. I think you'd honestly have to be pretty deep into the chemistry field, biology and chemistry. Maybe a medical doctor would understand this stuff a lot better, but I'm just being very honest with everybody. I don't quite understand why it can act as an anti-inflammatory and act the same way an antioxidant does, but it doesn't have the same effects that those things do when, we kind of put them to the test in exercise otherwise. So anyway, hydrogen-rich water. What do you guys think about this study?
Well, I was going to say before didn't the lunges portion go faster too with this? Like by seconds, but they went faster. So, I mean, in effect, like it actually helped the training somewhat, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, it helps in every capacity. There's not a lot of downside I'm seeing to the initial research from hydrogen-rich water, to be honest.
Yeah. Joe, you can go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to jump in front of you.
I really like the bones of this study. A lot of things they did, the structure of it. It was a double-blind, placebo-controlled. They measured lactate, creatine kinase, counter movement jump, muscle soreness, and then the lunges portion I also really liked. It was kind of interesting how they did that. Usually, we've seen in a lot of studies where they will, they'll control for, like, if you're doing max reps, they'll like measure velocity, and once you lose velocity, they'll like cap you at your reps, and that's a cool test. But this one was they did their resistance training, which is pretty much all lower body dominant, and then right after they finished, they would do 20 lunges as fast as possible, and they saw how fast people did their lunges. And that's what Ashley was talking about, that the people on the hydrogen water did their lunges like twice as fast as the people that weren't on it. And I thought that was a really cool way to test how either recovery or soreness or whatever that they're going through, how fast you're able to act after being fatigued and going through that. So that was really interesting. It'd be cool to see in other studies, but it was also really surprising, the fact that would go faster just from hydrogen water. So, and having a positive effect on soreness and lactate levels. So that was probably the coolest part of it. as far as takeaways go, you could be on two different sides of how you could look at the takeaways, and that is percentage effect benefit. It might be only a couple percent more. Like, yeah, you'll be a little bit less sore. You can perform a little bit better, but in the grand scheme of things, how much will it affect your training and your recovery in the will it be that much noticeable? And I guess that's what they're kind of diving into with the training sessions, or with this research, because this study wasn't very long, so maybe over time it could be good. It's hard to say, but also on the positive side, this is like a really easy thing that you could do, and it does show like immediate benefits for everything that I just listed off. So really easy to do. Just see if you can find some sort of reputable way to have more hydrogen water, like hydrogen rich water, and it could benefit you, because it's not one of those things you have to it's not like a super challenging thing to do, or like a new habit you have to build. Just, hey, I'm gonna have some hydrogen water. And it was only, they did I think like 260 milliliters, which is 42 ounces. So that's like a third or a half maybe of your daily water for the day or something. So not even like not even like a ridiculous amount of hydrogen water that they're drinking. It was just 42 ounces, and I think they bookend it with the training or something like that.
Well, forgive my ignorance, but like, where would you get hydrogen water? Like hydrogen rich water. Man, say that 5 times fast.
I think you have to get one of those things where you put the bottle in and they like pressure squirts into it, like just injects it that way. It's not, I don't know if you can do it with like drops or whatever, but because hydrogen is gas, so you actually have to
Right.
like.
So I actually was looking at this. There's some stuff. I mean, I'm on Walmart.com. So
Wow.
H factor hydrogen infused water, honeydew flavor. Looks like some of this exists, but what's 420 milliliters ounces? Because that doesn't make any sense in my brain. But hydrogen water generator, alkaline maker, rechargeable, portable for pure H2 hydrogen rich water bottle. So they have these things, I guess, that can
14.
do it. You said 15?
14 ounces.
14, yeah. So like I just haven't looked into like them much deeper, other than like, is it possible? So it looks like you can buy things that will hydrogenize your water. And there are some companies that are already selling it. This one specifically is already marketed towards, it says on the little packet here, it says improve athletic performance, reduce inflammation from exercise, deliver powerful antioxidants. But then we get into the whole, this is what supplement companies do. And I see this getting a lot bigger if the science keeps catching up and saying that hydrogen water is good. Like, it's going to become easier and easier to buy. But what's the dosage? There's
Right.
always that. It's like, is this enough? Is there enough hydrogen in this little bag of water? Because it's $29.99 for, let's see, 11 fluid ounces, 12 count. So that's not too bad, I guess. If you get 12 of these things for $30. There are much more expensive supplements out there for sure. So might be worth a try. Get a little H factor from Walmart and try it out.
Yeah, but honeydew flavor is the worst of the melons. That's okay.
See what else they got here.
I know. give me a better flavor.
I've never
Jerred,
seen
dude.
anything flavored with honeydew. That is kind of strange.
Right?
I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe that's the only thing you can put in hydrogen.
Maybe
No.
honeydew's high in hydrogen. I don't know.
Wait, what is this? Cherry. There we go. They have a cherry one.
All right, I'll do that.
Tart cherry. There we go. Combine them.
Oh gosh, all the antioxidants. I said I feel like I like double-blind studies too. It's funny that Joe and I kind of honed in on that, only because I feel like they on both sides don't know who's doing what, and I know it's science, and they're probably never going to skew it, but you never know. Like, what if you give like a smirk or something just because oh, you're taking the supplement, like on the other end. I don't know. That's what I think about. Sorry, my brain goes weird. But they talked about all the things that they tracked. They tracked these things 30 minutes after, then 6 hours, then 24. Amongst them were, Joe talked about the counter movement jump, HRV. They tracked soreness. Like, there was a ton of stuff that they tracked during that time. And at first, when I looked at it, I thought, well, like, soreness for us doesn't necessarily mean a bad thing. And how sore are you immediately after a workout though? That's kind of another thing that I don't know, I thought was funny. But again, overall, they had faster lunges. They were again they had less soreness, and so I feel like it was a positive thing. So I just don't know enough about it. That was my first point. I had never heard of hydrogen water before today.
I was actually surprised to find that you can buy it at Walmart. I was like, oh, this is going to be like something someone will capitalize on it, but it's already been capitalized on. It's just I don't think it's caught on in the industry yet, but it's only a matter of time, to be honest, before you start seeing this more places. I think for takeaway applicability to garage gym athletes, where I would use this and not be scared to try it, is I would buy some H Factor, or if I could find it somewhere else, buy some hydrogen water. This would be my event drink. I would totally slam some hydrogen water pre Spartan Beast, during the Spartan Beast, and after. Anytime I know where the soreness is going to be an unusual level, or I'm just trying to reduce that overall, because events and races, there's no training benefit to them. They're a race, it's a test, and so if you can not hurt yourself or not get overly inflamed or whatever, that's going to be a great use of something like this. I don't think it makes sense on a long-term basis or as a regular supplement. One, I think cost would become a factor, and I don't really see a ton of benefit. But I do think experimenting with this, if you are someone who does a lot of, let's just say half marathons, 5Ks, Spartan race, mud runs, whatever weekend stuff you're into, never try something new on race day, right? Like we always say that, but maybe worth throwing in your training, like before a long training session on the weekend, see how you feel, see if things are different. And then throw it in once you actually do the event. That's where I would probably use hydrogen-rich water.
And as it catches on, somebody's going to develop a hydrogen bath, a hydrogen jacuzzi, to where you can, if you can go through your skin. I mean, Jerred, just think about your cold plunge, and then
Can I get a hydrogen infuser? To just throw it in there. I actually would prefer to inhale it. To be honest, I would rather just have like a dentist level, like put it around my nose or something, and like,
while you're
or an
squatting,
inhaler,
have a tank on your back,
on your just front, get it in there, because I mean the atmosphere is like a nitrogen and hydrogen and oxygen, right? Like so I don't know if like that's why humans respond so well to this. Maybe we have less hydrogen than we once did. I have no idea. Really going broad there.
It's like, whoa.
Well, I mean, this is where my brain goes when like something's like, why do we respond well with consuming hydrogen? That's just like an odd thing. How many more things will we discover? But any more takeaways or applications for garage gym athletes you guys can think of?
Gatorade. H2O.
There we go.
There it is.
All right. So I think that means no. So if you want to just drink some H2O, some water, and you want to get a little bit more hydrogen going in there, then go for it. But hydrogen-rich water. That's it for the study. All right. So how do you bring ideas like this to the table when you're at Christmas dinner? How do you, without being annoying, tell people that they should be tracking everything on a wearable and drinking hydrogen-rich water and doing concurrent training? Like, how do we bring this? How do you bring up fitness with your family? And we've kind of hovered around this topic before because it's a big one for me, as, to be honest, a family that's not interested in fitness that much at all. And I have to like try whatever. I've been trying for like 2 decades, and it's a losing battle. I'll be honest that I haven't found a way to succeed in that category. But what do you guys think? I mean, we all have loved ones who maybe we'll get to see more of around the holiday season, but they might not be into fitness as much as we'd like. And we could care less about them having a 6-pack or losing 100 pounds. Like, it really has to do with them just being healthy and living longer. That's the only thing I actually care about when I'm bringing it up with my family. So what do you guys think? What are some good ways we can bring this up to family members?
Actually, you can kick it off.
So actually, we kind of sort of brought this up. I told you guys beforehand we did early Christmas with my dad and stepmom this weekend, and we talked about Limitless actually because I said it's a great show. You should watch it. So I think if you can incorporate stuff where they have some sort of interest, and then maybe go into conversations of, then dive in if you want to dive in. Because we also talked to you, Jerred, when we hung out with you and Emily a couple weekends ago. My family's the same way. It's kind of hard. Like, they do everything opposite that we teach here, so it's hard to watch. And it's very eye-opening when you go into a different setting, because I feel like you just kind of think what you do is the norm because you do it on a day-to-day basis. And we are around people mostly that also do what we do. So that is hard. For me, it's always been, since I started working at Garage Gym Athlete, everybody always asks my opinion. Can I get your opinion on this? Can I get your opinion on that? And that's where that gets sticky a little bit. But I think if you kind of lead the horse to the water, if you will, and slow baby steps, don't overload them on, this study says this, they don't care. Get them to walk, get them to stop, I'm hitting on nutrition. I'm sorry, Jerred, the liquid calories, like stuff like that. I don't know. I think you can start small, and then hopefully something sticks with them. And then if what has happened in the past with me is then they follow up with me and say, hey, you remember how we were talking about this? What's something that I could do? And then sometimes it goes from there. But especially with January 1st coming around, everybody always wants to start a new me, a new you. And so they want to kick it off really good at the new year, and they want to plan. And so
people hate my recommendations around New Year's because I get that too from like friends and family members, and they're like, kicking off a new program, give me your best one. And I'm like, how about you walk for 30 days and then come back and talk to me after you've done that? They never like that response. But that's honestly what I tell people. I'm like, how about you do something that you don't normally do for 30 days straight? And then if you do it, we'll talk about the most amazing program you could ever be on. But we're not going to have that conversation until you prove to me you can be consistent in something else. And that shuts it down real fast.
Yeah. What's your New Year's advice for the goal? Well, you should have started 3 months ago. That's my advice.
Or a decade ago. Either one.
For motivating family and other people, like everybody has different levers and different ways you can poke and prod at them and reduce certain things. I know, like, just my brother and brother-in-law, I can just straight up fat shame them and it's fine because we're brothers.
You got to know your audience, right?
Yeah, know your audience for sure when it comes to that. My parents are completely opposites. Like my dad, he's a bigger guy. He's always wanted to be active. He's always very like can't sit still, but he's still, a bigger guy. He's had hip replacements and knee stuff. So like I've had to, but he's always wanted to learn about certain things, and he gets overwhelmed with information. So like he's fine with me telling him stuff to do and what he should be doing, but I just have to be able to back it up. Like he asks a bunch of questions and wants to know why, and just wants to know more information of what to do. But he needs it to be all laid out and told to him, because just the information overload it can be real. And so there's certain people like that to where if they want more information, then you maybe, prepare a little bit before you before you talk to them some, and maybe give them some of these podcasts or something and tell them to help them sort of guide them that way. And then there's people like my mom who are just like super stubborn, don't want to get moving or do stuff. And it's really hard to get them to move stuff, to do things. So for those, like for how different people get motivated at different times, especially for when you just, whether it's somebody that these are lazy or just doesn't feel like doing it or doesn't think they need to, just think about, just kind of trying to think about things that where I feel like that, because there's definitely times where I'm lazy or just stubborn and don't want to do things, and try and think of how you would get started doing something. So maybe it's, hey, asking them to go out and do something together with the family, and it's like you're forced to walk around and be on your feet and do things all day. It's like, hey, you did this, and then maybe we just you just keep doing things like that. Have them actually just like, it's sort of an illusion of we're just going out and having time together versus you're actually like you're just going out for a walk, instead of telling them, hey, you need to go out for a walk or something. Nutrition's always hard because everybody has their own thoughts and feelings toward it, to what they've heard. There's all of the information that they might have had. The older people are the worst because with everything, because they've kind of stuck in their ways and don't want to really kind of question, or don't really want to question stuff. They just kind of want to keep to what they know. As far as if you want to build better nutrition habits with your family, I think going about it, not telling them what they're doing wrong, but tell them what they could add to do right. Because if you're telling them they're doing something wrong, then they're going to be more likely to give pushback or be defensive, versus, hey, you should try this. This is actually really good for you. Hey, tart cherry juice is really good for antioxidants. It might help your knees or your something like that, versus you should stop drinking or eating X because it's bad. So just a little bit of framing of how you could do that. And maybe like if you start with a positive habit or two, and if it could compound into more, then you could, if they're become more open to criticism, then you need to have the door open first. But that you need to have the door open first before you start just barging in and telling people what they're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You don't agree? You just want to tell them what they're doing wrong?
Yeah.
Well, especially like my dad will have cookies with his coffee first thing in the morning. I'm like, Dad, maybe you should
That's my mom.
not have cookies.
That or biscottis. Like it's a running joke in my family. Breakfast cookies.
Wow.
That's what my dad calls them. It makes me also think of Grumpier Old Men. Where have you ever seen that movie?
Oh yeah.
Where he's sitting out on the bench and he's looking out and he's like, I drink my dinner, which is beer. I eat bacon and bacon for lunch, bacon whatever, and I'm still ticking. And all these health experts keep dying before me. I feel like that's the hard battle with the older folks.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. I do think I do not discourage anybody if they have something that they want to do, even if I disagree with it. So like if you're in the fitness world, I'll go to war with you on almost anything. If it's peer to peer, if it's like one of us going head to head on something nutrition, like, and we don't, because we all align in our agreement. I'm just saying like peer to peer, I'll like whatever, let's battle. Let's go. Who's got the better information? But if you're not in my world, you're outside my world. I won't take that approach at all. So if my mom comes up to me and she's like, I'm thinking about trying keto, I'm not even going to alert her to any of the dangers of keto or anything. I'm gonna be like, that sounds great. You're motivated to do keto. You want to try that? Let's do that. I'll actually help you do it. And then if she was successful, then I would start trying my like transition strategy, right? Because nothing's going to hurt you in a short term. Like
That's true.
It's not. And so I used to not have this approach. This is newer for me over the last year, really. Like whatever somebody brings up to me that they want to do, I just tell them it's a great idea, because previously it'd be the opposite. They'd be like, I'm thinking about carnivore. And I'd be like, well, here's what's wrong with carnivore. I don't do that anymore. I'm like, absolutely. Do carnivore for 30 days. Let's talk. Text me every day. Tell me how it's going. I'd love to hear more about it, because they're going to drop a ton of weight and it's going to work and it's going to be great. It's just not going to be great for long term. And so that's my approach. So the big overarching thing there is don't discourage anybody at the dinner table if they're thinking about something new and you happen to be the person in your family who's like super into fitness or whatever. So don't discourage. And then the second thing I do, I've kind of been doing this for a while, but I'm more taking like a stance on it, as this is what I do for buying presents. I buy fitness presents. That's it. That's what you get from me. I don't really care what you want, but that's what you get. And so that's what I'm doing.
Everyone in your family.
Everyone in my family. Like if that's not okay with you, then just tell me you don't want presents, because that's the only thing that's happening. And I took this approach because Emily's birthday's in December. And we get Christmas presents from friends and everything. I've gotten 4 cakes in the last week. All these people know me pretty well. Like they know me pretty well. Not like we're not acquaintances. And they sent my family 4, well, not one person, but I have 4 different cakes. And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not going to eat that. Like, you just know it. And so I'll let my kids have some. I will eat some. Like, I'm not going to say I won't eat any cake, but I'll probably have like one slice. And then after that, I'm like, you're not sitting around. You're not sitting in my kitchen because I'm going to end up eating more of you. So I will just throw it away. Thank you. I'm going to throw it away. Give all the kids a slice and then throw it away. I don't need, but 4 cakes, it's absurd. And so once I got 4 cakes, that's when I decided, okay, this is just what I do now. If people are going to do that to me, I'm just going to do it in reverse. Here's a treadmill. Hey, a lot of people, they want a treadmill, and you got one. You got to find a spot for it in your house, but there you go. I brought my brother a kettlebell for his birthday. I got my dad an Apple Watch for Christmas last year. These are just the things that I do now. If it's not fitness or health related, I'm probably not going to give it as a gift. Unless, the only exception would be my kids and my wife. Everyone else outside that circle you're getting a fitness or health gift from me. Because if people are going to send me cakes, I'm going to send you what I think is enjoyable.
You just made the list. Running shoes is.
I'm not mad at these people. I just think it's funny. Like, you can know me pretty well and you're like, yeah, but you want a cake probably. I'm like, I don't want a cake. Like, under no circumstance do I want a cake.
Under no circumstance.
Like, it's just not whatever. Sweets is not my thing. You send me a burger, I'll eat burgers all day. Like, I love burgers, and that's not healthy. But cake specifically is just it's a funny, so bad. Anyway,
you tell them to do chicken biscuits instead of cake.
Yeah, exactly. What is that in the savory category that I like? What?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I'm savory. I'll go savory all day, but not really. I only go savory like once a week max. But it's way better than sweet. I hate sweet.
Take a meat cake.
I'll take a meat cake.
So those are my 2 big things. One, buy presents for people appropriate for health and fitness. And 2, don't discourage what anyone wants to do. And that was kind of similar to what Joe said. Like, don't go around and be like, you shouldn't do that or you shouldn't do that. And if someone comes up to you with like this thing, like, I have this idea, here's what I want to do in January. Don't take a shit on that. Like, they already have like a plan. They're thinking about it. And I used to be the opposite. And I really wish I wouldn't have done that to people in my family in the past. Cause it normally is like my mom, she might be like, have an idea for something. She bought a new book on something. And if I speak negatively of it, she's not even going to read the book now or like finish the book. And she'll just be, but then the option is not do what I said. The option would just be do nothing instead of the thing that was the consideration. Right. And so that's why I've kind of changed my tune on that. It's like, let's go, let's do whatever you want. Let's go keto and CrossFit. Let's do them together. And then we'll just talk later about how maybe you can transition out of some of those things. Because it honestly takes a couple years for like to build problems from those things that we don't enjoy, not overnight. You guys have any other strategies or ways to bring this up to family?
My Enneagram 8 self
trying
is
to
ticking.
What'd you say, Joe?
I don't envy those who are trying to do that this year. I mean, it's always something that you want to do or think about, but then it's like you just got to pick your battles because you could just, I don't know. I don't say end bad, but yeah, there's just times where people just can throw up a brick wall and that's it. It's like, okay, well, happy Christmas.
It's family.
Yeah. I mean, you can make a game out of it.
Oh no. Jerred, your games and our games are so different.
You could have like
it's not a penalty.
Is it a drinking game?
Yeah, hydrogen rich water.
Hydrogen rich water. Yes.
That's the game I play after I try and tell somebody something and it doesn't work. All right, well, I'll be at the bar.
Oh, speaking of health gifts, I got Emily an Oura ring for her birthday, and she's been wearing it. And it's so funny because I've been tracking like every metric about myself for I don't know how many years. It's got to be like 6 years or something. Like, there's not a morning I don't wake up and I don't know like how I slept via the data, or like tracked a training session or HRV trends. Like, I've just been doing this stuff forever. Never once has she like been interested. She's like, no. And she had an Apple Watch for a while. I mean, honestly, I think she had it for like 1 or 2 years, but she would never wear it sleeping or anything like that. And I think they didn't even have sleep back then when she had it. What'd you say? What'd you say,
Yeah,
Joe?
because you have to charge it at night if you want to use it during the day.
Are you taking Apple shots?
Yeah.
He is. That he is.
Well, that is actually funny because my brother sent me a video for the new Apple Watch Ultra, and I was like, "Oh wow, this thing's amazing!" Like, well, looking at it, and they're like, "The battery lasts 3 days," and I was like, "You guys just can't touch Garmin, can you?" It's like not even close.
How long does y'all's Garmin watches last?
Like a month.
10 days to 2 weeks. Oh, it depends. I have non-solar, but it's still like 2 weeks almost.
Wow.
I can charge mine. That's like with training sessions. I haven't been running that much, so GPS will burn it more.
Yeah, it depends on how you use it. Mine lasts forever because it's on airplane mode all the time.
That's true.
And then I turn it off airplane mode to track my workouts. And then, I don't use the phone features and like all that other stuff. So mine lasts a really long time. But back to the Oura Ring story. She's tracking everything now, and she's crazier about it than I am. She's like going over all of her HRV data, her resting heart rate, her
She's
sleep.
always been like that.
Yeah,
she
knows
knows.
nutrition.
Like macros, yeah.
Oh yeah, she's hardcore. It just she like saves herself from going down that road, but she actually really, really likes the Oura Ring. So far, which is cool because other wearables, like one thing I've always hated about Whoop is you can't get enough sleep with Whoop. I don't know if you remember that, Joe, when from the Whoop days, they'd be like, sleep need 9 hours, sleep need 9.5 hours. And then you'd have like a really hard training day and not sleep that well the night before. And they'd be like, sleep need 10 hours and 42 minutes. I'm like, this is not happening, Whoop. Who does this? Like your algorithms are off. And then they also like make you feel like you're not trying hard enough, like all the time, right? Like that's what Whoop does. Garmin, not really. Garmin, I feel like just kind of tracks. Like they don't really like. I mean, they can if you're getting into like the loads, right? They can say you're low on aerobic or like whatever. But Aura doesn't do that either. Aura is like pretty encouraging. It's like encouraging data about like what you're doing and all that other stuff. I think it's a great middle of the road, like between like the hardcore ones and the ones that do nothing thing. So
Plus
I got her a
just a
fitness
ring.
gift and she likes it. So there you go. That's what you got to do.
Unlike the Peloton commercial.
Right?
Oh, I gotta remember that. That was awesome though.
That was a good one.
That whole fiasco.
All right.
Speaking
So
of conditioning,
we'll get to the Meet Yourself Saturday.
it's the EO3 5K. It's my favorite one.
Never done it.
Oh, gracious.
It's
Anyways,
been a
it
minute
is
since I have.
6 rounds of an 800-meter run. And then you will, after you do the 800-meter run, do 3 rounds of 5 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 15 air squats. Do that 6 times. Then you're going to rest for 3 minutes, do a 100-meter sprint, rest for 60 seconds, and then do another 100-meter sprint. And your time cap is 60 minutes. And that's it. Super simple, not easy. I almost said super easy.
It can be easy if you don't push yourself.
True.
What do you think about this one, Joe?
Well, for traveling for holidays and Christmas stuff, it'd be a good one to easy to do because you don't need anything except running shoes, and except unless you're traveling somewhere like I'm going, that's 30 degrees colder than it is here. In which case, I don't know want to be running outside. That sounds awful. It's like 30-degree difference. I'm a baby, but this is a great
That you are.
great workout for traveling to do. That's the main ones. I've done it when we've been at our in-laws before, and it works out good. That's my main thoughts. We've talked ins and outs of this workout a ton. It always comes down to the 800-meter run. So, finding that repeatable but high pace that you can sustain over 6 sets of it.
I know lots of people's kids are out of school, so get your kids out there and do it with them. Maybe this one isn't, maybe you're not testing for Fit Week or whatnot. Make it fun, have them get down and do some push-ups and sit-ups. And it's always fun to see their versions of things, Connor's
you could easily
burpee's
do it on
hilarious.
machines too. Yeah. Because then you don't have to run out. Nobody has to run around like just to leave. You can always stay in.
Like on the rower or
yeah,
on the bike?
rower, bike, whatever. Just if you can equate the distance, because then especially if you, like you mentioned, you want to do it with kids, they're not going to run, make them run 800 meters or something and or keep up with you. You just get on whatever your equipment is and do it, and then the calisthenics together.
Yeah, just have them play while you run.
That too.
Yeah, or push
I
a
do
stroller.
know that the EO3 5K sucks a lot more on my true form than just running out on the road.
Yeah.
Just because it's slower, or what?
And treadmills suck in general. But
I'm starting to think my true form's got it needs to be
Grease.
WD-40 or something.
It's uphill.
Because my times are quite different. Have I shared publicly how much I suck at running right now?
No.
Or was that just in the team meeting?
Just the meeting.
Teams.
Yeah, so I'm back to running, and I'm excited about it. I missed running, not going to lie. If you've been following along my story, I hurt my back. And then every time I would try to come back with either heavy squats or cycling or running, my back would start to hurt again. And it was never, when it would start to hurt again, it was never serious, but it was always a problem. And I could tell if I kept doing it, it was going to get worse. And so I just went, all right, fine. No heavy back squats, no running, no cycling. I'm just going to do ski erg and I'm going to do rowing. And I still did a lot of leg stuff. Luckily, my legs didn't get much weaker in that process. I've definitely lost some strength from my top end max back squat, but overall, I've maintained pretty well because I've still been training this whole time. And then same with the rower, everything I would have been running, I've just been rowing. But now I'm running again, and I really suck at running. I don't know how long this is going to last. I'm hoping not long, because I don't feel like I'm necessarily out of shape, but my body's not responding like it's in shape when I run. It's super elevated heart rates. I can still hold paces that are decent, but I'll be I'll be in zone 4 or zone 5, holding paces that wouldn't have been that high previously. It's I can hold the pace, but my body's so alarmed by running. It's just such a weird thing for me because I've been running. This is the longest break I've had from running ever. Since high school, I've always been running to some degree. And so this is
much more higher impact, I feel like, too.
Yeah, it's just so much more demanding on the body. And there's, I guess, zero crossover from erg machines to running. So I really suck at running right now, and I want to get a lot better at it. That's a big goal for me next year in 2023. And I might throw in the EO3 5K to get better at that. Just any workout I can that's going to have a lot more running. Condition me to the grave is a little too crazy. EO3 5K's got a good balance of running in there. So going to my tips for that one, yeah, this is a great travel workout. Just try and get a consistent pace on the overall rounds. That's what I do these days. And so when I say rounds, we say it's 6 rounds of you run 800 meters and then you do the 3 rounds of the calisthenics. Well, timestamp or, right at the end of your last squat, that's when you hit your timer. Don't pay attention as much to the rounds of the calisthenics or how fast the 800s are. Just do the overall thing and then see if you can bring that down in its totality. And if you want to be consistent across, that's fine too. But you don't need as much consistency when you're doing an all-out effort on something like this. So I would say look at your 6 rounds overall and your splits and see if you can shave some time there. And yeah, it's a great travel workout. Super hard. Mark Bishop reached out to me recently. He wanted to know if I'm interested in doing a year of Stairway to Heaven with him, and I think Caswell's doing it. I told him I'd do it if Joe will do it too. So
guess we're not doing it. Easy as that.
There we go. That's a quick no. That's
You're
not
welcome.
actually what I told him. I'm considering it. We'll see. I might do Stairway to Heaven this weekend and decide. But
when your hip flexors are screaming.
Yeah, but they'll stop screaming eventually. Be 8 weeks in, your hip flexor will be made of steel. You won't even be worried about it anymore.
Either that or you're just going to walk backwards like you did. The beast. everywhere.
of the troubles with that one is, so like when you did Murph, the first time you did all out, and then the second time you were smart about it and you changed it up and did variety and had some zone 2 ones. You can't do that with Stairway to Heaven. You're locked in
You just
to how
gotta
you
do
have
it.
to complete it. You have to
Mhm.
meet every single minute, every single thing.
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, though, if I ever did Murph for a year again, it would only ever do all out. I would only ever do all out Murphs, because they're two different challenges. One is like a consistency challenge, which I don't feel like I have a problem with, and that's what the second time I did the Murph for a year, was just like a consistency thing, like making sure I could do it. It's a lot harder to go all out every time and like see if you can PR and then come up short some weeks when you just can't get there. So I don't know. I would be okay with it being something you can't control. The biggest factor for me is travel. Like if you travel, I'm not bringing a vest. I'm not bringing a 20-pound vest on the airplane, even if I have to check it or whatever. It's just going to add too much weight to your travel kit. So doing Stairway to Heaven without a vest, I guess, is an option for an easier version of Stairway to Heaven. But it's also very different. Just like what is like a 1,200 box step ups for time. Basically, it's like go do 1,200 box step ups in an hour when you don't have a vest on. I feel like when it's less gamed, it makes it worse mentally. But that's
True.
it. Yeah. All right. Well, we'll get out of here. Everyone have great holidays. Go know your audience, shame them appropriately into doing fitness, and try some hydrogen-rich water. Let us know what you think. You can go to Walmart, get some H Factor, pick it up. Not a sponsor at all, but go buy some. Let us know what you think of it. We're going into the new cycle soon, so a lot more information about that coming out. And, for everybody who's part of the community rolling into 2023, we have a lot of big plans for the year, and we're excited to have you all around. If you want to join the community, you can go to garagegymathlete.com and start a 14-day free trial. We would love to have you. Remember, if you don't kill comfort, comfort will kill you. Athlete Podcast. If you want to learn more, go to garagegymathlete.com. You can learn about our training. Let us send you a copy of our book, The Garage Gym Athlete, or you can even get featured on the Garage Gym Athlete podcast. Thanks for listening.